This little critter, little red wagon, bumping up and down in my little red wagon. I gotta sing that every time I see this car come in. Because it's a little red station wagon. It's a Honda Accord 92. I'm gonna show you how to fix this. Ew. Look at that. That's gross. It's not chocolate syrup, kids. That's oil. Texas tea. What happens is you'll see that valve cover's not leaking, but the valve train goes over. The spark plug tube seal on this older model is divided into two parts. There's a lower part that's molded part of the cylinder head, and then there's an upper part that's part of the valve train assembly. So anyway, you take that top valve train assembly off, and then there's these little O-rings. When you look at like a parts thing, like I'll go to the AutoZone website for a minute and I'll show you what I mean. So you go in here, you type in valve cover gasket, bam, and you click on here. It'll show a picture of what the part looks like. See if we can bigify it. Details, whatever, make it big. Okay, so here's the deal. These are the little grommets for the bolts that you see here, 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 and here. These are spark plug tube seals and the valve cover, blah, 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 blah. Outer perimeter, got it. But what about these? What are these? Those are the little O-rings that go in the in-between that I was talking about. When you pull off the rocker arms and look in between there, you've got these ones in there. And what happens is these get hard, they get cooked. They're in the heart of the motor. It gets a little bit warm where they're at. And so they'll crack and they'll split. So you go to take the top off, and they're like flat little discs with little cracks in them. And that's how the oil gets in. I'll tear it down, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, so what I've done is I've taken all the spark plug wires out, just twist them back and forth and pull. When they get sloppy with oil, they come off really easy. They're lubricated. So the next thing you want to do is you want to pull off all 4 bolts. You got one here, 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 and here. And they're not bolts, they're nuts. Oh, nuts, I messed up. I said the wrong thing. Pull the spark plug wires off, set them aside. Next thing you want to do is I like to grab this little thing. Oh, pull off that little ground wire too. It's a little 10mm. Then you pull out your PCV valve, give it a little twist, wiggle, pull, and just hook it aside back here. Get your needle nose pliers, pinch this little clamp together. It's in this position. Pull up, twist, wiggle, tuck that behind your ignition coil, and then I pull, like I say, I pull up here, and then I'll take a pry bar. I'll stick it in here gently, ever so gently, and twist, and it pops that free. Then I do the same thing over here, stick it under there. At the same time, I pull up on here. Next thing you know, dun, da, 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 your valve cover comes off. Isn't that nice? And then just set it aside on the floor, flip it upside down because they drip, folks. And then when you set it upside down, all those little grommets fall there and not into your engine compartment. Or crankcase, that's what we want to call it. Crankcase is the word. So the next thing, it's a little bit of a bugger of this job, is that you're going to have to, you don't have to pull the distributor all the way out, you're going to have to pull this bolt out so that you can pull the cap and everything up. All of these bolts that you see here, 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 and here, and here are going to have to come off. And what you'll do is you'll pull all of this up, and then the spark plug tube seal, if you stick your finger down in there, how many people tell you to do that? Stick your finger in there. Don't stick your finger in there. That's a little more like it, huh? So you look down in there, and you can see that halfway down, there's a split. Look at all the oil and goop in there. So halfway down in there, there's a split, and that's where the O-ring lives. And you can see, looking down through here, that there's a little split in the casting. So that's where we're going, folks. Strap on your hiking boots. Let's get this done. Let's get her done. Alright, now it's time to take this off. This isn't even with editing software. I'm doing this by hand. Isn't it impressive? So like I say, you pull all of these off. Don't forget to bring a towel or remove the little bolts. Little Mickey Mouse 10mm. Across the back's important too. They're easy to forget when they turn black. So anyway, you take all of those off, give it a little wiggle wiggle-roo, and yeah, it's easy with one hand, right? Not so much. I just set the whole thing like that onto a clean part of the floor that I've swept and is all nice. So anyway, hey, look at this. See all these little So these are probably clean enough. Here's your spark plug tube seals. Look how black that one was. That one too. I mean, they were just passing oil like a son of a gun. So make sure when when you put these back on there, all those little little rocker arms are going to try to push down on the top of these and meet with these and bend your valves. Don't let them do it. You know, you feel like a third grade teacher with like 30 students or something. Oh, come on everybody, behave. But no, they're going to try to bend the valves. Don't let them bend the valves. Keep your class in order, Mrs. Bailey. So anyway, that's how you do it. Also a good idea to put a little bit of oil over the top here, and also not over your O-ring necessarily for your distributor. That's probably going to be fine. Having a little drip of oil on that can be good, but I would put a little silicone on this surface here and on this surface here. Am I telling you all the stuff you need to know? I'm pretty dang close. Most all of it that you need to know. The O-rings themselves are actually going to be in here. You'll have to tip this up momentarily to put the new O-rings in. I'll show you what I mean. You can still leave your bolts in, but see, that's where the O-rings live. Hi, little O-rings. So make sure that your little oil channel right there is clear. Mine is. It's bubbling as it's dripping oil. But that's where the little O-rings go. So I put the O-rings in there. You don't need to silicone those in, but I do like to put a little bit of Permatex Right Stuff, the favorite, coolest stuff in the world, around each of these. You can see a mark on each of them where it goes. Use brake parts cleaner, a little rag, wipe it off with the brake parts cleaner, wet spot that you put on the rag, into your rag. Wipe them off, and then that little Permatex Right Stuff is going to stick right where you want it. Don't go overboard. You're not trying to make a wedding cake. You just want a little bit to seal it in, to make up for if there's any kind of problem in the future. You'll notice that the oil was getting in under the O-rings. If they're glued down, it's hard to sneak underneath of them. It basically makes it last a lot longer. Yes, this car has 250,000 miles. I know, quit it. Stupid phone. I swear, if I answer my phone once and get in the habit of it at the beginning of the day, the whole rest of the day, it just goes, yeah. Phones are evil. Evil distraction. No wonder I never give my phone number out, huh? I freaking hate my phone. So anyway, love, hate. So that's how you seal those up. You put that together, and it's just going to be all kinds of happy. Make sure that you don't bend your valves. When you go to torque it down, look up the torque specs. I think it's around 22 foot-pounds for the big ones. And then they give you some ridiculous inch-pounds for the 10 millimeter. Just snug them down. You're going to be fine. So anyway, that's that. That's all I have to say. I have nothing more to say. Oh yeah, if you like the video, be sure to click subscribe. You can click add to down arrow favorites and make it easy for you to find it later. Sometimes my videos are super easy to find after they've been on for a year, but you know, if it's been pretty recent, it can be tough. Click thumbs up if you like it. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. I was a little bit more candid and true to character in this one. Maybe that's annoying, maybe it's not. Let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, same thing, put them in the comments. If you put them in the comments, people can find their answers. If you leave them in a personal message, then I have to answer the same thing over and over again. And while I do it sometimes, it's not necessarily a happy feeling when I do it. It's easier to just, you know, be efficient. Then you can help more people, right? Right, alright. Okay, I told you I'd show you these O-rings and the crackness that was therein. Here's what you've got. You look at this spark plug and you see it's just totally saturated in oil. And this is the oil that's been all through the engine. You get a little bit of metallic whatever in the oil as it circulates, and when it does that, it's going to conduct. So we're getting misfires on cylinder number 1, cylinder number 2. 3 was okay. This was 3. And you'll notice that I don't have oil all down the threads of these old spark plugs that came out. The reason why is I blast it with compressed air. I use a little blast nozzle with a little bit of a what do you call this, a pipe to it. And you stick that in the hole, you take a paper towel, you wad it up over the hole, and then just sneak that pipe in there a little bit, and it blasts all the oil up into the rag, and it's suspended. It's a little messy. I mean, it's like oil shrapnel everywhere. A little speckle effect down over everything pretty much. This is going to smoke and be a little nasty, but at least it's clean. So that's how we do that, and that's what it looks like. Cheers.